Hello everyone. I have been given a task to give a presentation in front of CEO and CMO for the questions that they have asked me. And before going to those questions, let's see the data that I have been provided from which I will draw the visualization. So here is the data. Let's go through the columns of this data. There is invoice number, stock code, description, quantity, invoice date, unit price, customer ID, and country. Now, I have been also asked to clean this data and create create a check that the quantity should not be below 1 unit. That the quantity should not be below 1 unit. And the second cleaning process that I have to do is to create a check that the unit price should not be below $0. That the unit price, that means this unit price column, there should be no value below 0. And to do so, what we will do, we will select the quantity column and go to conditional formatting, then highlight cell rule less than. Here we will put 1 and select the light red fill, and here we go. So what has happened right here is that all the quantities that are below 1, all the quantities that are below 1 are highlighted in the light red color, as you can see here. Now in order to clean this data, what we will do, that we will again select this particular quantity column, and then we will go to the filter. We will put a filter over here, and then we will click on the drop down, and then we will filter by color. Now here are all the quantities that are below 1 in the quantity column, and by doing so, and after doing this, we will clean this data. And similarly we will do for this unit price also in the same manner. So in order to save the time, I have already cleaned this data, and now let's move to the dashboard that I have already created, right? So uh, here is the dashboard. Now let's see the question that has been asked by the CEO and CMO of the company. So the first question that the CEO has asked me is this: the CEO of the retail store is interested to view the time series of the revenue data for the year 2011 only, right? He would like to view granular data by looking into revenue for each month. The CEO is interested in viewing the seasonal trend and wants to dig deeper into why these trends occur. This analysis will be helpful for the CEO to forecast for the next year. So basically, what I understood from this question is that CEO wants to see the data for 2011 and monthly revenue data for the period for the 2011, right? So what I have done is, first thing that I have done is I have created a calculated column or in by the name revenue. So for doing so, what I have done here is I have went here, created a calculated field, and then I have after creating it, I have multiplied to written here. Here I have written the name of the column that I wanted to create, which is revenue, and here I have calculated two columns, calculated revenue by the use of two columns, that are quantity and the unit price, which will be like this. Just a second. Here, quantity into unit price, and it will create a revenue column. So I have already created it. Here is the revenue column. Now after doing so, what I have done, I have taken the uh, invoice invoice date, right? Invoice date into filter, and here I have filtered uh, the date uh, from the data, and I have only selected for the year 2011. Now that I have the data for only 2011, like you can, as you can see here, only I have the data for 2011. After selecting the year, what I have done is I have dragged this invoice date invoice date column to the column shelf, and then I have dragged this revenue into the rows cell and created this, and ultimately created this chart, line chart, or you can say trend chart. So as you can see, in the month of January 2011, the revenue was 6,91,000, then it went down to 5,23,000, then it again went up to 7,17,000, and similarly it as we can see, the maximum it has reached in the 2011 year was 15,09,000 something. Now let's go to the second question. Now what the second question? Second question is the CMO is interested in viewing the top 10 countries which are generating the highest revenue. Additionally, the CMO is also interested in viewing the quantity sold along with the revenue generated. The CMO does not want to have the United Kingdom in this visuals. Okay, so what I understood from the question is that the CMO wants to know the top 10 countries in terms of revenue, uh, excluding United Kingdom, right? So for doing so, what I have done is again taken the revenue column. First, I have filtered the country, and by dragging this country column to the filter and excluding this United Kingdom. After that, I have taken the revenue column and dragged it into the column shelf, and then I have dragged this country after filtering United Kingdom. I have dragged this country column into the row shelf, and then the sum quantity, that is the total number of quantity sold. I have dragged this quantity column into the column again, and which ultimately created this bar graph. Here is the revenue, here is the quantity. So the top 10 country in terms of revenue generation are Netherlands, Ireland, Germany, France, Australia, Spain, Switzerland, Belgium, Sweden, Japan, in the descending order. And similarly, in the terms of quantity, what quantities are sold for generating these revenue are mentioned here, as you can see, right? Now let's go to the third question. Now the third question that I was asked by the CMO of the company, or the CMO of the online retail store, want to view the information on the top 10 customers by revenue. He is interested in visual that shows the greatest revenue generating customer at the start and gradually declining to the lower revenue generating customer. The CMO wants to target the higher revenue generating customer and ensure that they remain satisfied with their products. So what I understood from this question is that the CMO wants to know the wealthiest customer, top 10 customer who are purchasing the most, who have the highest, who are providing the revenue, who are providing the highest revenue to the company. Right? So let's see the visuals here. Top 10 customers by revenue in descending order. For doing so, what I have done, sorry, I have again dragged this revenue. First, let's uh, see the customer. So filter the customer in the in order to find the top 10. So what I have done is dragged the customer ID into the filter. Then what I have done is mentioned here, I have filtered it by top 10 in by revenue, right? So I got the top 10 customers ID by the revenue, and after doing so, I have dragged the sum of revenue in the column shelf and then dragged the customer ID into the row shelf, and then from here I have created in sorted in the descending order, and here is the data, here is the visualization for that same question. So the highest revenue providing customer ID is not found, unfortunately, but the second highest customer ID was in the terms of revenue was 14646 was the customer ID, and similarly it is in the descending order. Right, now let's go to the fourth question. Now the fourth question is, the CEO is looking to gain insight on the demand for their products. He want to look at all countries and see which region have the greatest demand for their products. Once the CEO gets an idea of the region that have high demand, he will initiate an expansion strategy which will allow the company to target these areas and generate more business from these regions. He want to view the entire data on a single view without the need to scroll or hover over the data points to identify the demand. There is no need to show data for United Kingdom, as CEO is more interested in viewing the countries that have expansion opportunities. So the first thing that we understand from the question, that we have to exclude the United Kingdom from the our analysis, from our visualization, right? So what basically question is asking us to do is to present the amount of revenue generated across the world from the different countries, and we have to present that data in terms of which country is generating the highest revenue. So for doing so, what I have done here is, first I have filtered the country. In the filtration process, I have excluded this United Kingdom from the table. Right, then what I have done is that I have created a demand field. Just a second, let me check. I think my system is not working properly. Just give me a second. What I have done is I have created a new column by the name of demand field. By doing create a new column and then adding a some quantity, right, like this, uh, some quantity. And demand column, here is the demand column, total demand column. By doing this, I have created this total demand column, right? And after creating the demand column, what I have done is that filtered out the United Kingdom from the country, as I have told you. Then what I have done, I have created a map view. I have dragged the country into the column shelf, and then total demand into the row shelf. And then what I have done is I have clicked the marks ID, change the